Welcome to Bash You Live, everybody. Glad to have you with us here from Tackle Direct Studios. Man, it almost feels like summertime in our neighborhood. I know it probably is where you're at too. The tournament trails are continuing to see spawning fish. We just saw Zack Birge win, who is going to be our guest today. Really looking forward to having Zack on the show. His first Bass Pro Tour win, and what a great one it was. Just trusting his instincts. How hard is that to do? How hard is that to, fly in the face a lot of times of, maybe what you're seeing or what strategy might dictate otherwise. Sometimes you got to trust your instincts and change. And he did and won doing it in spectacular fashion. So, really looking forward to that. But there was talking to Zack. We've got spawning fish going on in that tournament. They're happening all over the country still. Right now, the elite guys are at Lake Murray. They get kicked off here in a couple days, and it's just a great time to be a fisherman. So we hope you guys are getting out. We're definitely getting out. I know Jake and myself got out and did a little fishing this weekend, and we had a lot of fun fishing creature baits, fishing around the pre-spawn and spawn period up in our part of the country. And I hope you guys got a chance to get out and do a little bit of fishing too. If you guys are watching us over on social, like and share the feed. We've got a prize for you, as well as pay attention to what we're talking about today. We got a grand prize today. Jocelyn, what do you got in the prize world?
We have a Missile Baits D-Bomb Rusty Crawl package and
Love the Rusty Crawl
VMC package as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these are exclusive at Tackle Direct.
Only can be found at Tackle Direct. This is a custom design by our own sale. BTC.
It is on sale. I think it's like $3 something. It's on sale, so go head over if you.
Something the fish haven't seen before, guaranteed. So we're giving away. I'm sorry, the
Missile Baits prize pack, and for both. Mm-hmm. One's a lot bigger. It has more missile baits in it than the other, and a VMC Rapala package as well.
Awesome. So pay attention. We're going to be asking some cool questions and having fun with it. We got to do a little bit of fishing this weekend, and Justin, our own Justin, the straight, narrow school kid, just doing everything right, broke all the rules this weekend and got DQ'd. What in the world happened, Justin?
Oh my God. Got DQ'd. That's all there is to it. Just came in late. Missed.
How late is late?
30 minutes late.
30 minutes late. That's
it was at 2.
Justin, you're always on time.
Well, there was a lot of other circumstances led into this. The morning didn't start off good. The club launched without me while I was waiting for the boater to get there, so missed the meeting. And cold, rainy day. He thought the weigh-in was 3:00. I should have double checked on that. And
this is how it happens, Jocelyn.
Is got DQ'd and pretty much shot for Angler of the Year.
That really stinks. So that part really stinks because you're at the first tournament of the season, to make a mistake like that, and it takes you out of it for the AOI and all the stuff.
Did you have a good bag?
I mean, I think I would have came in second or third.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got third in the first one. So I would have been top 2 or 3 for AOI going down to the Gunpowder next weekend, but it's all right.
There's still a chance.
I'm done. I'm out of it.
Oh man, doom and gloom. Rick Clunn did it right. He was the guy that writes the time on his hand.
Yeah.
So he does, because it happens to everybody. They come in at the wrong time. It's happened to just about everybody that's ever fished tournaments, because it's always rotating. Your weigh-in time changes depending on your boat draw that day or that weekend, and it's all right. Justin, it's an honest mistake.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's just
You'll be all right.
A mistake that I would think Justin would.
I know it's not a Justin kind of mistake.
Justin's so organized. Meticulous. He's on time.
That's probably why he's so upset.
Yeah,
that is why I'm upset.
At least you didn't lose your lunch this time.
No, but I'm sure that'll happen again when we go back up to Champlain.
Well, we forgive you, and
thanks, Pete.
we'll let you slide on this one, and
maybe this is your bad luck before you fish the Ike Foundation Pro-Am.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah. You got your bad tournament out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, it happens to everybody. Everybody has been late. I was late once or twice, and it sucks when it happens. And the usually lateness occurs in the form of a pound or 2 pound penalty, because of circumstances. But missing your flight is something that's common. It happens to so many different people, but you pretty much wiped out because you lose a pound for every minute that you're late.
So
30 minutes late, you would have had to have a hell of a bag.
I would have had to have an upper Chesapeake 30-30 or 30-31, so I could at least weigh in a pound.
That's right. You would have got some points with a 30-pound bag. Well, sorry to hear that, Justin. But it was a great weekend. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got the Ike Foundation tournament coming up. We'll talk about that stuff in a little while. But right now, I'd like to bring on our guest, who is just fresh off of a massive win, at the Bass Pro Tour, taking home the top prize, $100,000, with just a tremendous decision to get that W. Man, it's awesome to have you with us, Zack Birge. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's great to have you. It's awesome because we get to talk to the guys that win and a lot of times, and what a fun one that was to win, man. It was kind of the spot where a lot of us get in making those decisions that you got to make to win. And man, you made a winning decision at the last second on this one.
Yeah, it was the best decision I made all week. Obviously, I've made a lot of bad decisions in fishing so far, and I'm glad to finally make one of the right decisions.
Well, that was a right one. It was a big win. I mean, how does that feel? I know, I saw the pictures of you and your family there. That's a big breakthrough to get a win on this level. Has it sunk in yet?
It is, yeah. It feels really good. Obviously, I've said that a bunch the past, day and a half or so now, but I didn't really expect it to happen at Eufaula here. If I would have guessed it to happen anywhere, this is not, a place that I would have thought it would have happened. I know the lake decent, but I don't know it. I don't know it like a local does. I've spent some time here, but not a ton. And I said that a couple of times, when people were asking me about the lake and stuff. I said, man, I'm not a local. Don't really know it that well, but I know enough about it. Maybe it'll help me make a decision throughout the week at some point. And luckily, we had all kinds of changing conditions, and it was basically chaos with weather this week. And, I think that little bit of knowledge made me make one decision, and that was to stay close that last day. And that was ultimately the best decision I made all week.
It was a great one, and I want to dive into that a little deeper with you. But you bring it up, the conditions. There was rain, the water was coming up, and then it looked like the water was dropping. Is that the way it went this week?
Pretty much. The leading up to the tournament, I think it was just slightly above normal, which generally it's slightly low or normal or just barely above. That's kind of where they keep it. And I was really hoping that it was going to rise. I remember talking to Andy Morgan about it, and I told him, I said, man, it sure would be nice if it gets up in those bushes and, we can have a flipping tournament or something. And we got a good amount of rain, and it came up 4 foot in just a matter of no time. And it made the bite really tough through practice. I was getting, I was kind of aggravated with how practice was going because I wasn't getting many bites after the first day. And, it got really, really dirty really quick. There's several small rivers that flow into this place that when it rains a little bit, it turns to just the nastiest red mud you could imagine. And it comes in from all sides of the lake. So it flows through quick. And it made it really hard to get a bite. It's kind of the case for everybody. But as the week went on, the water gradually started to fall just real slow. And of course, a couple days into it, the water cleaned up slightly. And by the end of the week, the end of the tournament, it had been stable enough and clean enough that they finally started to bite a little better.
Yeah, it looked like a stingy tournament. Sorry about my video glitch here. We got Justin working on it right now. We can still hear you, and everybody can still hear us. So we'll get this video thing figured out. But it was a tough tournament, man. It really was. Guys were struggling mightily to get bites, and that was that change in conditions. I tell you. The tornadoes are run rampant through the area. I was wondering was there a tornado pattern going on this lake? Did that affect things? It was crazy how many tornadoes are touching down in that area.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm kind of used to tornadoes. We had several come through last night. We had straight line winds over 100 miles an hour last night, come right through our neighborhood. So it's kind of like the normal thing around here, but. Yeah, we got to Eufaula. That's not the case over there. That doesn't happen too often on that side of the state. But we got there to practice, and it was I think the end of the first day of practice. Might have been the second. I can't remember. We had a tornado come across the lake. There were several videos of it. Ayler posted a video of like taking a selfie as he was driving by the water spout. Crazy stuff. And two more times the tornado sirens went off in town that same night. It was wild. Of course, all that's got to play an effect on it. I don't know to what extent it does, but the lightning bolts and thunder and then tornadoes and just flood waters. I mean, it's crazy. It affects it to an extent. I just don't know how bad. It definitely doesn't help.
Yeah. I mean, we see that at a lot of our bodies of water, lightning and thunderstorms will roll through, and the nights when that happens, a lot of times you'll leave the bite and it's really good the previous day, and then after those lightning and thunderstorms, the fish just get whacked out. It almost takes them a full day to recover sometimes. It sounds like that might have been a little bit of what was going on out there.
Yeah, and that's what we had for several days in a row, so it's not like it was a one-day deal and then it cleaned up and, settled down after that. It was first day of practice, second day of practice, throughout the tournament at night, just in the mornings. It was chaos all week.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes because, I got a couple of dogs that run for cover during a thunderstorm, man. They are digging to get under the bed, to get the heck out of the way. I bet you fish do the same darn thing. I bet you some of them do.
Yep, it's got to be some instinct about it.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. Well, wow. So treacherous conditions, rising, falling water, bite is incredibly tough. You did a great job getting yourself into the cut. Take me through that a little bit about, like, I saw where you were fishing a little bit around spawning fish and just junking around, it seems, but you did a good job getting in the cut.
Yeah, it was legit pretty much a junk fishing tournament for me. From about midday through the first day, I started on a stretch that was close, pretty much where I started the last day is where I started on day one, and I made a loop through there, and I got enough bites to keep me from running down the lake that first day. And that's kind of what I was hoping would happen. I didn't know how good it would be or how many fish it would take to stay within the cut and all that. So I just kept kind of playing it hour by hour, and I got enough bites to keep me around, which was nice. But that was, I'm talking 7 bites throughout the whole day. I caught 5 scoreables, I think. Pretty tough. But compared to the rest of the field on day one, that wasn't terrible. Day 2, I didn't really think I was going to be able to catch them in there. So I just went down lake, found some cleaner water, and I just went junk fishing. If it looked like a bass should live by it, I fished it. I caught a ton of fish on, a bladed jig. Not a ton, but I caught a good number. I caught a couple bedfish, one on a fluke, just legit junk fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the same thing on day 3, and I barely squeaked into the knockout round. Or that was the knockout round. I'm sorry. I got into it, barely made the top 10. And I really thought I was out of fish because it got really tough on me that day. I caught them decent in the morning, but there was several boats around. We were all kind of cycling through the same stuff. And I didn't feel like I had any chance at winning by going down there and doing that again. So, but I also had 2 bedfish down there that I thought I could catch really quick. And it was playing in my mind that last morning. Do I go down there and catch those 2 really quick and then just fish my way back, or just fish what looks good in front of me like I have all week? Or do I stay close and hope that these fish have settled and started biting? And I legit told my official and cameraman when we were going out, I said, we're going to go down lake and start on these bedfish. That's what I'm going to do. And we made it about, 200 yards going out of the cove right before the no wake. And I looked over to the left and I saw the stretch I started on. There was a couple birds standing over there on the point. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go right there and just pull down and wait and just start fishing. And then we'll see how it goes from there. Because I thought, well, I can start here, and if it's not good, then I'll just fish my way down there. Maybe those guys aren't going to find those couple bedfish. I'll catch them, and who knows what'll happen after that. But that was the best decision I made all week. As soon as lines in, I caught 1. Then I think I caught 9 the first period, which was the best period I'd had all week.
Yeah.
And I knew if I could keep the pace up, that it would be good. And I lost a few fish, but ultimately it wasn't anything that affected me too bad. Great call that last day.
Man, what a great call. It had to be awesome to be there. The birds helped you. It's funny. I get in the boat and some of my co-anglers sometimes will be like, well, which way we going to go? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to have to, I have 2 or 3 decisions to make here. I don't know which one's the right one. And, so you just kind of let your instincts carry you and try to make that call. And, man, that was you idling out there, making just a brilliant call, seeing the birds. I mean, you can't go wrong that time of year. That had to be, we always talk about following the birds. That to me, that might've been what pushed you over the hump of making that good decision. Yeah.
That, and the fact that I looked out across the lake and it started to rain. You couldn't really see the other side of the lake real good.
Oh man,
I don't really want to ride through that. I looked over, I saw the birds. I knew there was a little bit of a shad spawn going on. Yeah. And it was just the perfect scenario of things that happened. And for one time, I made the right decision.
And the other guys missed it, right?
Yeah. Well, everybody I was taking off, I think, boat 9 that day, 9 or 10. So I was pretty much behind everybody. So I don't think anybody even saw me turn to the left and go over there. Everybody was already blasting off the no wake zone and getting out of there. And I just kind of slid over to the left, kind of low key.
Nice.
And went to fishing. And I never saw anybody all day until the very end. There was 2 guys that came in there with like the last 30 minutes or so, just fished their way back. But golly, it finally set up perfect. The water had cleaned up just a touch. It had been nice and stable, and they went to biting. And what really gave me the confidence was I picked up a frog there kind of middle of the day, and I caught a couple in the morning on some shad that were in the bushes, but I moved from that little pocket I started in kind of further back in the creek where the water was really dirty earlier. And it had cleaned up a touch, and I threw my frog in a bush, and first time I twitched it, a good one ate it, and I thought, oh yeah, it's over now. Like, this should be really good. It gave me a lot of confidence that all those bushes in the back, there could be a fish around and they would be biting. And there was a lot of stuff back there to fish. And it was good. It wasn't as good as it has the potential to be, but there was plenty of them that started to bite.
Well, you had the best day that anybody had, all week at that tournament. And that was awesome. It made it easy once you made that decision to get those bites right out of the gates, and that settles you down and dials you in a little bit. But it was great to see you just rolled with it, and knowing how tough that tournament was and how easy you were catching them that morning, it's just got to be like the light bulbs going off. Like, I'm home. This is my new home. There's no need for me to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as I was fishing. I had 9 bites or 9 scorables that I caught that first period, and that was the best. I already had more weight than I caught any day total at that point. So there was literally no reason for me to leave. I didn't think of anywhere else that I could have went and continued to get that many bites.
Yep.
The only thing that would have made me make a decision to get out of there would have been if I hadn't got that first bite as I went further back in the creek, because if I hadn't got bit and I'd went like another hour or so without a bite, I would have thought, okay, it's not going on back here yet. I better go back out and start fishing some new stuff that, might not have gotten fished. And that one frog bite in that bush, that was a big momentum deal for me.
Is that the 5-pounder you're talking about?
No, it was a 314. It's funny. My official had stepped on the back corner of the boat to take care of some business, and he said, I'm going to be a little slow getting the scales if you get a bite. And I skipped in the first bush. As soon as I moved it, she ate it, swung her in the boat, and I looked back, and he's jumping through the boat, coming up there with a scale. He said, man, I hate to say this, but I may have wet my leg a little bit trying to get back up here so fast. So I said, well, we couldn't have done that again if we tried.
That's the way it always happens.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What a cool was that the fish that I saw that you had a penalty on? I thought you had a bigger fish, so like a 5-pounder that you lost hold of. Or was that the one?
That was the very last one I caught.
Okay. Yeah,
that was the one at the end of the day that it was a 5.9. I think I had like a 10-pound lead at the time, and Skeet and Drew were both kind of catching some here and there. They were creeping up on me a little bit, and I was getting a little nervous. We had, I don't know, we didn't have too much time left, but I caught that 5.9 on a frog there at the very end, and trying to get my hand on her, and she kicked and fell in the bottom of the boat. And anyways, when I caught that one, I knew it would be really hard for them to make up 16 pounds or just shy of it, with like an hour to go.
You could see it on your face. You knew it. And we all knew it too, watching. It was just like, that was it. We all just knew that was the fish that's going to put you over the top. And, man, that had to be an amazing feeling, even though you were in the penalty box. But what a good time to be in the penalty box after catching a giant like that and pretty much sealing the victory.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. I will say though, it's never over with these events, the way the format is, until it's legit lines out, because I've had scenarios happen, and this doesn't happen anymore, but I was leading a select event back when we first started, and Ott had got out of a service area, and he had caught like 4 or 5 fish. And when the lines were out, they said I'd won, and came over to do an interview and all that and present an award. And then next thing you know, they get a phone call that Ott was out of service, and his weight had taken a minute to get in. So he ended up actually winning. So they had to take it away from me at that point. And then,
oh man,
I've been so close so many times where I've been leading, and then, in the last minute or 5 minutes, I've gotten past, so 15, 14 or whatever it was there at the end, that was my cushion with, I don't know, an hour to go. It's not, it's a decent lead, but it wasn't a lot, but it was also very tough to get bites at Eufaula. And if it had been anywhere else or any other scenario, I probably would have been a lot more nervous.
Yeah, it was tough conditions with a big lead like that. I know you were nervous, but I think the rest of us watching knew that it was pretty much a slam dunk. And I was, as I was thinking about this, because I've never fished a tournament like this. A lot of people haven't, where you know what everybody else is doing. So your decision in the morning, once you started catching them, you could see how you were separating yourselves from the field. It really, like in a tournament, a normal tournament, we would never know. You have to guess. Like, okay, I think I'm ahead. I think I'm doing the right thing. But you get that instant gratification that, yeah, I'm 10 pounds out in front. That was the absolute right call.
Yeah. That is a good thing about that, being able to know what your competitors are catching throughout the day. It also is kind of tough on your mind too, because when you go through like a 30-minute, 45-minute lull and not catching one, and like Drew caught a few and he would get back up to like 8 pounds or 4 pounds behind me, makes you a little nervous, makes you speed up a little bit, do things that, you might not do if you didn't know the pace. Mm-hmm. So it can go both ways real quick, depending on how you take it and how you let it affect you. Luckily, every time my cushion would get a little more narrow, I would catch one to kind of put a gap back in there, and that does make you feel good when that happens.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I know that. Well, it was fun to watch. Dan Allen's asking this, and you talked about it a little bit about your, getting that fish on the frog. But what made you decide to go, topwater fishing, frog fishing? I think the bladed jig was producing a lot. What made you pick up that frog?
So the place that I was in, the place I started at, when it was 4 foot high, there was a lot of small, like real small willow bushes, and just basically, if you could imagine your fresh cut yard getting flooded, that's what it was. But there was a random like bush here and there that were under the water. You could barely see them. So the first day, I caught pretty much everything on either spinnerbait or a bladed jig. And as the week went on, the water came down about a foot. So those bushes that were barely under the water at that point had gotten, out of the water just a touch. So I wanted to cycle some baits in that I could fish slower past it and produce a bite. And the frog is something I've got a lot of confidence in. And then if I went to the back of the creek back there, there was a lot more brush and heavier cover that I could skip a bait under, which is perfect for a frog. So the first time I picked it up, I was in the very back of this creek, and there was shad spawn going on in some trees, and I couldn't quite get my bladed jig back in there where I needed it to go without getting it hung up. So I skipped a frog in. As soon as it stopped, one ate it, caught that one. I think I lost 2 or missed 2 back to back. So it gave me some confidence to pick it up later in the day as I got by some more of the same stuff. And then as I worked my way back in the creek and got around those other bushes, I cycled it through, and it ended up being, I felt like I was getting just as many bites on it or better than I was the bladed jig.
Gotcha. Well, I know it was fun to watch the frog bites, and you were one of the other guys was fishing frogs too. I want to dive in there a little bit, but Justin, you had a few questions?
Yeah, Josh wanted to know, like, what area of the lake did you focus on, like the historic spots like Longtown, or did you run the whole lake?
So I normally like to fish in Longtown. I just could not get enough bites in there in practice. I didn't feel like it was a good place for me to go spend some time based on how practice went. I got some bites down. I spent my 2 other days in Porham down in that area. Not really all the way back in there by the bridge, but kind of out towards the mouth of it in those short, small pockets around the big island with all the willows, and pretty much stayed right in that area. That seemed like it was the cleanest water and had the most, I could generate the most bites through there. So that's where I stayed most of the time. And then the first and last day I was actually at the mouth or in Eufaula Cove.
Gotcha. Let me ask you, I want to go back to the frog question. There's and it was demonstrated here during this tournament, because there was one of the guys was throwing a white frog and you were throwing a black frog, and there's two schools of thought. I throw the black frog, and the guys that throw the black frog are always right. And why is that? Why did you pick black over white? You had shad spawn, yet you elected a black frog, and they were just choking it.
So I normally throw either white or black. It seems like that's, I've tried endless crazy colors, and I think a lot of colors just kind of a sales pitch to get you to buy it, and they look cool, so you think they're going to work. But when it comes down to it, black and white, that's pretty much the two best color frogs you can throw. Mix in a bluegill color, I think helps too. But I had both on the deck. I had a white one and a black one, and I picked the white one up a few times. You would think throwing it around the bushes when there's shad spawn going on would be the right call, and they would be all over it. But I never did get one to bite it. I never had a swirl, never had one miss it. I picked up the black one and skipped it around, and I was getting bites here and there. So, it only takes a couple bites like that, 4 and 5 pounders to give you the confidence to keep in your hand. And, basically the fish told me what color they wanted in the frog, and that's what I threw all day.
Yep. Yeah. They told you that's normally when you're getting them to commit to it and you're hooking up, that's the right color. And you could see it happen for you, for sure, with that black frog. Was it I didn't get a good look at it. Was it a popping frog? Was it a pointed hollow belly? What brand was it?
It was a popping frog. It was a toad thumper black popping frog. Okay. Pretty much just I throw the popping frog probably 90% of the time. I like walking it and throwing it in places that I probably shouldn't. It's just getting as far back in there as you can, and wrangling a bass out of places that a lot of people probably don't attempt to throw a frog into, or any bait for that matter.
Well, you had that right in front of you. Did you modify it? Did you cut the legs to make it walk better, or put any noise in there, or do anything like that?
Nothing. Nope. Straight out of the box, tied it on, and chunked in wine.
I like it. Well, they definitely were wolfing it. I can't remember who was throwing a frog. Justin, who was the other guy in the top 10? He was throwing the white frog. I wonder if that was the difference. It's just the simple color choice. I'm sure it was the area that you were fishing in had a lot to do with it. But so you got them on a frog. You got them on a vibrating jig. Vibrating jig was a big deal. One of the things, Justin, you were pointing out the gear that Zach was throwing seemed kind of unusual to what we typically see guys throwing a vibrating jig with.
Yeah, I was just curious on your thought process with the straight braid and the shorter rod with throwing a vibrating jig. You don't see that much.
Yeah, so
straight braid.
I've gotten asked that question a good bit, and really the only reason I did it was because I was fishing around some pretty nasty brush, and I was really trying to put it further back in there, and just in some trash. And I didn't want to take a chance at losing a fish or not being able to move a fish as fast as I normally could with like your typical chatterbait rod, or throwing it on 16 or 20 pound fluoro like I normally would. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you feel a bite, you have a lot more load that takes place before you actually turn a fish.
Yeah.
And when I would skip way back in these bushes, or even if it was more of an open area, I had 3 or 4 small bushes that I had to come by before I could get the fish clear of it. When I saw my bait disappear or felt the bite, I wanted to be able to pull and get that fish out of there as quick as possible, but also have, as much power as I needed to have behind it. So I used the Alpha Angler Power Skip rod, which is a 611. It's a little shorter than what I normally throw one on. I threw it on 30 pound straight braid, and I was just I made a lot more short casts than I did anything, but it was just, skipping it in these bushes, in between bushes, down laydowns, just all over the place. And last day was a lot of open water, but it was so dirty it didn't really matter. It wasn't affecting it at all. just making a ton of cast, I think, was a big part of that too, as far as getting enough bites. But I just didn't want to take a chance at having a fish get me in a bush and not being able to maneuver it out of there. As hard as bites were to get that week, every bite needed to count. And it wasn't affecting my bite ratio or the amount of bites that I was getting throughout the days. So I didn't, I just kept using that setup and it worked good. I got to boat flip everything that bit. So that was cool. Just worked out good this week. And I don't normally do that, but when it's a scenario, when it's really dirty water and you're around a lot of trash, I'll still throw it on that same setup. But, 9 times out of 10, it's clean water, cleaner and more open. And I'll throw it on, more traditional chatterbait rod, like they're chatterbound with 20-pound fluoro or something, or 16.
Right. I was telling Justin before the show, like when we first got introduced to the chatterbait, that's what we all threw it on, was braid. We were, throwing it, ripping it out of the grass. And then it seemed like the strike to catch was dropped off, or I don't know. Maybe it was just the bee height was just crushing them so good with the 20-pound fluoro that we all decided that was the way we had to do it. But when that came out, we were all using braid. It was cool to see you be so successful with it. What was the vibrating jig? What was the trailer? What was the weight you were throwing?
So I threw a 3/8 most of the time, just a lighter weight. I didn't want it to fall too fast. It was super shallow water too, even with 4 foot or 3 foot of water coming up. The fish they didn't seem like they were on the steeper banks or anything like that. They were on more of the flat bushes, points, like the flat points in creeks and stuff. Somewhere you would see one spawning or would think one would spawn. So I spent a lot of time in like 1.5 foot, 2 foot of water. I didn't want it to get down. I tried to keep it real high too, like just barely under the surface. So I visually saw a lot of fish eat the bait this week. So I stuck with a 3/8 Omega Rapture vibrating jig, chartreuse and white. That's 90% of my bites came on that. I did catch a couple on white, just straight white, but chartreuse and white was the color for me. And the Reaction Innovation Little Dipper white trash trailer.
Okay. So that's a small trailer. That's a short trailer.
Yep. And I trimmed the skirt up too. I trimmed it real short right behind the hook and then put that trailer on. And that was the deal I threw all week.
That's a small profile bait. Man, so that was the 1-2 punch, the chatterbait and the frog. It was a great win. Instincts got you this win. I want to ask you this question. It's in your bio. Rich and I were talking about it. You're an avid hunter. I am of the opinion that like being a hunter really helps you make good instinctual decisions as a fisherman and vice versa. What do you think? Is that a true statement?
I believe it is. And that goes for, I feel like anything you hunt. I chase waterfowl a ton and I love watching the way they react. The cadence of your calling can affect it and you can visually see it, the way they react to it. The way you set up makes a big difference. Turkey hunting, is the same kind of deal. You got to basically read what they want and let their reaction tell you how to make a decision. And based on your decision is whether you're successful or not. And, having a good day. And that I think translates a lot to fishing. Your instincts make a big difference on the outcome of your day. And if you look at a lot of the guys that have had success for a long time, Andy Morgan especially, he's a very avid hunter and he's very good at what he does with everything from deer hunting, turkeys, ducks, all that stuff. I mean, I think that says enough right there that it benefits you both ways. I certainly agree with it.
I think it matters. And, it's weird. I've never hunted. I've never been. I spend all my time fishing, and I feel like there's at times where the hunters have a little bit of an advantage. Being able to see the wildlife respond and to their decision making. And well, it was a great decision. It was fantastic. Congratulations on a great win. What's next for you? I mean, what's the next Derby? What are you excited about that's coming up for the Bass Pro Tour?
Bass Pro Tour next is the Chuan River. I think that's how you say it. I have no clue how to pronounce that.
Oh, that's the one in like North Carolina or something, right?
Yeah, somewhere up there. I've never even heard of the place before, but it sounds like it's got a lot of big fish, and the weights seem like they're good from what you can research. So I'm excited to go there. I'm excited. It might be another frog, flipping tournament, something like that.
Yeah.
I might as well do the same thing. I look forward to it.
Keep that momentum going. I heard the same thing, Zach. The one of my buddies fishes down there, and they're catching 30-pound bags out of that river, and it's like hardly anybody knows about it. I think they want to keep it on the down low, but MLF must have heard the same story I did.
Yeah, they probably did. I think that's why we ended up going to Raleigh for a few years, because Jordan and Falls were so good, and I don't know how much they liked us going there and showing all that, how good it really was. Those places are phenomenal. They got a lot of really big fish, so I'm hoping this place is good too. It's going to be fun. I think we go there, then the James, and then somewhere else after that. I don't even remember.
Oh man, 2 tidal rivers back to back.
Yeah.
I wonder, forward-facing sonar didn't seem to be much of a factor in this tournament. I know Gil was doing it a little bit, catching some fish off the beds and some other places, but I bet these next 2 tournaments probably aren't going to be much of a factor.
I don't think so. I believe it's going to be very similar to Eufaula. I never even turned mine on all week. I left everything disabled and turned off. The only thing I had on was my mapping. And that was basically just to show me some off-the-wall pockets that people might have ran by that I could dip in and fish real quick. Other than that, I had everything disabled and turned off.
Well, it's fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch real-time decision-making going on, in this particular tournament. Is there anything else? What's the rest of the season? You guys got a northern swing? Some smallmouth on the forefront?
Yeah, we go to I think it's the St. Lawrence River. Can't remember exactly when we go up there. It's a little bit later. And I'm also fishing 5 NPFL events, so we've got one there next week at Hartwell. So I'm kind of excited to fish those, fish something, a little different, back to a 5-fish format. So I'm just excited to keep fishing.
Well, you got to keep that momentum going. Did you guys like put the big trophy in the kitchen and dance around and invite the whole neighborhood? What was the celebration like?
Well, Eufaula is only 2 hours from my house, so by the time we got done doing interviews and stuff, we got home kind of late. Basically hung out with family that night. Had a decent little headache the next morning, and
heck yeah.
So yesterday I kind of just took the day off, went to the gym middle of the day, and kind of caught up around the house, cleaned everything up, put it back in the shop, and kind of started taking care of other business today. So the trophies went from the kitchen counter to the mantle over the fireplace to behind me now, and the checks went somewhere around here. My wife probably took it.
Looks like it barely fits on the top of that.
It's got about a half-inch of space on top of it. Gonna have to build another shelf.
Are you gonna keep the handlebar mustache the rest of the season? Seems like
Maybe.
some good luck there.
Maybe. We started as a joke at this event, and seemed like it worked pretty good. So I'll have to let it go at least one more, I think.
I'd let it ride for the rest of the year.
You're crazy if you touch that mustache. You better leave that right where it is, man.
Don't touch it.
We'll let it ride for a while.
you gotta accentuate that. That's your calling card now, man. That's the good luck charm.
Yeah.
Man, well that's great, man. I'm thrilled for you. Congratulations on a great win, and wish you best of luck the rest of the season. Really appreciate you hanging out with us at Bass U.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys having me. I enjoyed it.
We enjoyed having you. And best of luck the rest of the season. We'll catch up with you real soon. And we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna come back and take care of some Bass University business. So Justin will be right back after this.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had. Yeah, throw me in a Ned BLT too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man.
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.
Right here, Aquaview, mandatory equipment in my boat. I say it all the time. The smallmouths hide in the cracks in the rocks, and just saw a little bit of the same kind of rock with the cracks in it. And I realized that I had to put a bait down there. You wouldn't, idle over them and see them on your screen. You had to put a bait down there and suck them out of the rock. So, Aquaview, big assist on this one.
And outdoors Bassmaster Classic champion, Jeff.
Why do you love catching fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing, is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back to Bass University Live with me and Jocelyn and Justin, the rule breaker.
The rebel.
The rebel. Good to have you guys back with us.
Speaking of rebels, I hear Jake got in trouble.
Jake got in trouble?
Yeah. Private Lake.
Yes. Jake is a rule breaker.
Attaboy.
Attaboy.
We all been there at that age, and I can't tell you how many ponds and lakes that I snuck into and got kicked out on, and had guys chasing me down the street and everything else. Good times, man.
Guys chasing you down the street. That's aggressive.
I like it.
I got a lot.
Justin, maybe you aren't a rule follower.
Well,
I lied.
Fishing wise, man, I would try and sneak in anywhere I could. This was actually like sophomore year of college. Me and two buddies, my one buddy found this farm pond, and it was, as big as the room here, but they were 2.5, 3.5 pounders just loaded. Every cast you would catch them. And we pulled up there. We're fishing. He's never gotten in trouble before. Next thing you know, this guy in this old Dodge Ram came flying down the dirt road, 100 miles an hour. Got out, started chasing us, cussing us. Good times, man.
Did you escape?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You didn't
Athletic freaks over here. It was funny. So it was 3 of us, and my one buddy's never caught a bass before, and we're like, oh, he can catch his first bass at this pond. So that was his first experience bass fishing, having this guy. come chasing us down and screaming.
What a first
Yeah,
experience.
he was all about it. Never went fishing again after that. But
That's crazy. I know Jake keeps trying, and I hate that it can be, and you guys probably deal with it too. It's just finding fishable water. It can be so difficult, especially in our area. And yeah, he keeps getting chased out. But I told him straight up, if you come home in trouble for causing any damage, you're going to be in big trouble. But if you come home and you're in trouble for fishing, you're not going to be in trouble at my house. That's the rule.
That's a good rule
at my house. So, but he does keep getting hollered at, man, and they're mean.
They're mean.
They are mean. Always smoking.
I don't understand.
Always
why.
smoking a cigar or cigarette. They're the ones that are the meanest.
You should be positively promoting kids being outside.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm
not yelling at them.
Now I'm at the age I can't really do that anymore, because if the cops get called, I'll probably get arrested. But
probably
when I was 10 through 16,
you were risking it.
I was hopping fences.
Yeah.
You come chasing after me, I'll outrun you type deal.
Well, our
we can see why he's a rule breaker.
Now I'm understanding this more.
Like you said, Pete, I'm doing. There's worse things to be doing than
that's very true.
Sneaking into a place to just go fishing, man.
Yeah. And
especially at that age for Jake, man.
I've taught
in trouble for. Who cares?
Yep. I taught him since he started, and all his kids and his buddies. I said, you just, wherever you fish, you make sure you leave it cleaner than when you got there, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And
our good friends over at the ASA, the American Sporting Association, they just released a newsletter this morning that Protecting Access for Hunters and Anglers Act passed the House. So they're at their next step of being able to have affordable and accessible locations for fishermen and hunters all across.
Go ASA. They're always out there working for us. Protecting anglers' rights and doing so many other things to protect this wonderful sport of ours. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully you got a good set of attorneys over there. I'm going to need them for Jake. I'm sure.
How did you guys use your new cash and rods this weekend in your tournament?
I did. I went ping in a minnow.
No, you didn't.
I did. I absolutely did. On my Mega Live, working in spawning areas with pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn bass already. And yes,
Pete the Pinger. How about it?
I was having a good time doing it with
freeloader on there.
Yeah, it was the freeloader, but the what I liked, it's the Moon Eye.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of the name of the VMC jig head. It's spectacular. It's got an eye that's so big.
Wheeler and Connell been using
a
lot.
Yep, the Moon Eye with the freeloader, and it was a 7-foot medium action spinning rod.
Yep.
I got all spinning rods from Cashin, which I was in desperate need of, but it's just fantastic rod setup for that particular application, which is why I got it.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's grand prize question. What do you say?
Let's go.
All right, grand prize question is in the BassShoe.tv chat. Question is, what made Zach stop on that bank the final day on Lake Eufaula? It's two-part answer. There's two key things that made him
stop. Two things that he saw
that made him stop instead of running to those bedfish. All right, Nick Mayberry. Birds and rain.
Birds and rain. Didn't want to drive through the rain, and he saw the birds.
That's right. Come on.
That's
and
exactly.
Our like and share winner is Rodney Martin.
Shout out Rodney.
Yep.
Shout out Rodney. And sub of the week here, Howie Range. Couple nice smallmouth rocking Bass Shoe shirt and Bass Shoe hat. Look at that combo there.
That's a nice pair of smallies. Where you at, Howie?
Yeah, where you
I
at,
like
Howie?
that Bass University shirt underneath.
I do too.
Heck yeah.
Not many have that. I like that beard.
Yeah, shout out.
Looking strong.
Shout out Howie. And it's last chance to get signed up for the spring slang deal too. $75.
It ends so soon.
It ends so soon. If you want a little shopping spree, $75 Tackle Direct gift card with an annual subscription. Sign up, 30-day free trial, see what Bass Shoe's all about. Get on the program. Watch, listen, learn, cash some checks. Pays for itself. Get a
And
part of
don't
it.
forget to sign up for the Ike Foundation
Yeah.
Pro-Am.
Yeah, the Ike Foundation
Pro-Am.
Pro-Am. Go to ikefoundation.org. We're all going to be there. I don't know if we're going to let Justin in the tournament after his, we may have to
Come on,
file
man.
some kind of grievance to prevent him from being able to compete.
He gets like a hour delay.
Oh, that ain't cool.
But that's great. It's a great tournament. Amazing first place prize, bass cat boat, Yamaha outboard, ready to go. I mean, you can't beat it, and it goes to a great cause. Getting kids out fishing, and getting rods and reels into their hands so that they can get chased out of their local pond.
Yes.
By angry neighbors. But we're all going to be there. It's a great time. It's one of the best tournaments of the season. It's on the Chesapeake Bay. I don't care where you live. Come on down and enter this tournament. It's at $325 to enter.
Mm-hmm.
And your fishing first place prize is what, $40,000?
Over $40,000. Yeah.
It's you can't beat it, and it's for a great cause. And the Chesapeake will be on fire. I predict
it will be.
It will be. It's June 1st, and it's going to be post spawn, little spawning, probably still happening. Grass bite, wood bite, all the bites are going to be rocking.
You'll probably be able to catch them.
Yeah, catch them the way you want to catch them.
Yeah.
It'll be a great tournament, a lot of fun. So go get yourself signed up. Are you going to be fishing this year? Or do you got to work
I got to work it.
You got to work it.
I work it every year.
Yeah, I know. You guys do a great job.
Been there, done that. I'm heading to the water.
I know Justin's leaving me this year. Hanging.
Heading to the water this time around. I just put in the chat board too. We're still doing our giveaway the final days.
We
of that.
are.
So $300, 5 different prizes, bunch of tackle, cool gear. www.bashu.tv/giveaway. Get entered. It's free. Win some more prizes, man. We're just giving away tons of stuff at Bass U.
And none more important than the amazing content and the teaching that is going on at Bass University TV. So you want to definitely check that out by signing up for the newsletter. Of course, you get all the latest and greatest on all of the seminars that are being released and when they're coming out.
Well, seminars this week coming out. We got Maddie Wong, the Wide World of Swim Baits, talking about from 2.8-inch swim baits all the way up to big 8-inch Maggies, as Maddie Wong likes to say. Maloha, shout out Maddie Wong.
Maloha.
And and then we also got Gray Buck coming out this week, which is flipping the grass. So 2 different great seminars.
He's an aqua view connoisseur.
Yeah, Gray Buck is.
Yeah, well, it's an important tool, especially the little one. Guys, you got to go check that out, and you got a good discount if you're a Bass University subscriber. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Look for all the great content at Bass University. Get yourself signed up if you're not a member yet. Get yourself signed up so you can become a better angler, and we will see you next Tuesday with another edition of Bass University Live. Have a great day, everybody.